Jasmine Campbell here. I'm journalist at Chronicle.lu, an English language online newspaper, which is celebrating its 10th anniversary this year. And I'm joined virtually today by Nicolas Zharov, president of LUkraine asbl, so a local nonprofit representing and supporting the Ukrainian community in Luxembourg. And we recently announced our media partnership, which will see us work more closely together, spreading the news among our readers about the situation in Ukraine and what LUkraine asbl is doing locally and on the ground to support Ukrainians following the Russian invasion of the 24th of February this year, which began on the 24th of February. So welcome, Nicolas. Thank you for joining me. And yeah, perhaps we can start by if you would tell us a bit more about LUkraine asbl and yeah, how your work has evolved since 24th of February.
Sure. First of all, hello, Jasmine. I'm really happy we could do this media partnership with Chronicle.lu, and my congratulations to the 10 years anniversary.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. So as the president of Ukrainian Community, I can tell that the association was created back in 2014 when we felt that there is a big Ukrainian community in Luxembourg that needs to be reunited. And actually in March 2014, we have gathered, even since December 2016, we were gathering for demonstrations in Luxembourg due to the protest in Ukraine and the European vector of Ukraine. And since the start of the war back in 2014, we have said that we need to do something, and we started to send humanitarian help to Ukraine, mostly life-saving equipment and medicaments. So our main purpose was, of course, to be able to send humanitarian support and to be able to provide medical assistance. So during 2014 and 2015, we were sending medical equipment and medicine to Ukraine. And when the war, let's say, calmed down a bit, so we started to make more community-based projects here in Luxembourg, mostly community development and building, and of course the cultural diplomacy. So we were trying to spread the Ukrainian culture and to present Ukraine for Luxembourgish citizens, to explain how actually Ukraine works and why we are different to other post-Soviet countries. And we have been participating in different fairs and of course inviting many Ukrainian guests here to Luxembourg, among them different singers, musicians, writers, and of course other well-known cultural activists from Ukraine. And we were also concentrated our humanitarian efforts in Ukraine based on youth and children. Mm-hmm. So, since 2015, we have done 3 major projects throughout Ukraine. Among them, actually, there was an orphanage in Mariupol that needed to be repaired. So we have assisted to this reparations, and other 2 projects like a pedagogical farm for people with special needs. It was one of the biggest projects we've done together with the Vega NGO in Luxembourg and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The project itself was very interesting because it helped people with autism, Down syndrome, etc., to be able to have a zootherapy and other psychological assistance, and to be able also to find a specialization after school. Thus, they could actually find the work in this domain. The project and the financing of this project took hand on 31st of December 2021, just before the full-scale invasion of Russia to Ukraine. So since 24th of February, we have concentrated our efforts on emergency relief aid to Ukraine, as it was back in 2014, saving lives, so it was a priority. So we started sending everything we could find, like medicaments, and of course clothes, food, pet food, medical equipment, and actually everything that could help the internally displaced people and the refugees coming to Europe to survive. And we have transferred more than 1,000 people here to Luxembourg. And since then, we have already found host families here in Luxembourg for 1,000 people. And we work actively together with Red Cross and Caritas on the operational level to help the refugees here in Luxembourg. As of March, we have established a psychological assistance project together with Doctana for the refugees, because we understood that those people, they really need this assistance to be able to feel more comfortable and to calm down in order to avoid any future problems on the psychological level. And of course, we understood that the priority was also to integrate people here in Luxembourg as quickly as possible. That's why we installed the language courses. So far we have 12 groups in French and English to learn those languages, and of course the integration courses to explain how it works here in Luxembourg. So we try to do maximum we can for the refugees. We have had two distribution points where people could get basically everything, starting from clothes and shoes and finishing by hygiene products and toys for children. And of course, we're still trying to deliver food packages for those who live in host families, because we understand that unfortunately the government is not able to provide additional help for the host families, taking into account all the other actions that the Luxembourg government have installed to help the Ukrainian refugees, which is simply great. But we are trying to close those gaps in order to help the Ukrainian refugees. Nevertheless, our priority lies in Ukraine. So people are getting constantly bombed, no matter in which point, in which city or village you are in Ukraine. You have always some percentage of chance to be bombed.
Yeah.
That's why we are sending now mostly medical things, medical equipment, and planning a lot of different actions in Ukraine. We have already sent 10 ambulances to help the Ukrainian hospitals. As of the beginning of the full-scale invasion, over 100 hospitals were completely destroyed and over 500 hospitals were partially damaged. So we understand that having humanitarian aid, and especially aid for the hospitals, is essential for the people who stay in Ukraine.
Of course. And how has the reaction of the Luxembourgish population been in terms of support in the beginning? Has that continued at the same level to now, or has it dried up a little, or how has this evolved?
It's simply great, the solidarity we have experienced. I think we had over 1,000 different volunteers from Luxembourg that helped us in the beginning to drive people. There were a lot of private initiatives coming from Luxembourg citizens. We are really happy and grateful for those people who helped us in the beginning and still help us in our actions right now. And of course, the hospitality of Luxembourg citizens, the host families, it's simply great. We have so many nice cases where you can feel that it comes really from the bottom of the heart. And big thank you for those people who helped us and still helping us.
Lovely. That's really great to hear. But of course,
However, we have seen there is the wave has gone down for the financial assistance, humanitarian aid. There is some kind of psychological fatigue which is normal. We do understand, of course, that people gave everything they had in the beginning, and we try to find sustainable ways of development and of our association, of course, and our projects themselves. And we try to explain that the war hasn't finished yet, and that those actions should be on permanent basis. So we urge everyone to keep helping us.
Perfect, great. Yeah, so a lot of support has come in, and support is still needed, of course, because the war is ongoing. And you've set up a few more recent initiatives yourselves as well. I think there's some big news for this summer for children and adolescents coming from Ukraine to Luxembourg. Perhaps you can tell us about this.
Exactly. So given that the Ministry of Education of Luxembourg has done a great job in scholarizing Ukrainian children, and they have also done the summer camps in schools, but we see that some people didn't participate in those programs, so we decided to create a summer camp for Ukrainian kids, which will be held in Leudelange. So we'll have 4 different shifts for about 40 children, 45 children each shift, that will have a personalized approach, and a 10 days program with different topics to learn about Luxembourg, to learn about Ukraine, to be able to forget bad things and concentrate on their childrenhood. Let's say it like this, because we do understand that children should not experience this type of events. The trauma they have had will be always remembered, and we try to make them forget some events by proposing different activities during the summer camp.
Brilliant. Yeah, of course, because like you said, there's been some months now settling into school, but with the summer break coming up, you know, it's good to continue those efforts, like you said, that have been started with yourselves and with the Education Ministry, so to keep that momentum going. And brilliant.
There is other aspect of this, because unfortunately the parents, all the families, the refugees are mostly women and children. Yes. So we do understand that in order to be able to find a work, or to go to work, or to go to the language courses, there should be a place where children go during the summer break. That's why we provide this possibility for the parents. So they need to be able, they have to find a solution where they can leave their children, and of course in some nice place where they will have fun during the summer break.
Perfect, sounds great. Yep, wonderful. And what that was a very optimistic note to end on as well, but what is the current situation on the ground now in Ukraine? What is the latest you've heard? Any important developments that people in Luxembourg or people outside of Ukraine should know, like recently?
Well, the situation is not changing, so there is a full-scale war, and given the past events in Kremenchuk and in Vinnytsia, actually yesterday there was a terrorist attack on the city center where over 30 people have died and more than 80 were injured due to the missile attack of the Russian Federation. And recently we have seen that the shopping mall in Kremenchuk was also attacked by Russian missiles. And we see that the civilian infrastructure is getting destroyed. People are dying. And actually that's the last events. We do understand that we are not protected from the sky so far. So we really hope that we will have the possibilities at least to protect the civilians, which is the most important, because they do not participate in this war, and during the international laws, none of the civil infrastructure should be attacked.
Sure, yeah, and bringing it back to school children as well. I know recently, just last Saturday, you held this demonstration, this very moving, touching demonstration to mark, well, what would be the end of the school year for children, well, children here, but in Ukraine, that this ring the bell ceremony. Yeah, so I covered this, and I thought that was very moving, very touching. So basically, I don't know if you want to elaborate on this, that it was a protest, a demonstration to show how children are affected. And
well, since 21st of February, children didn't go physically to school due to the obvious reasons, so they continued their studying online. Nevertheless, given the official numbers, which are really approximative, and we can say that those numbers are much bigger than the official. So there are over 300 children who have died. Among, by the way, the last attack yesterday on Vinica Centrum, three children have died. And actually, in Ukraine, you finish the school the end of May. In Luxembourg, it's a bit it's the 15th of July, actually, or 17th of July. Yeah. So we decided to say that, well, some children couldn't finish the school year, and actually they will not be able to finish the school.
Yeah.
And that's very important for Luxembourg people to understand that a lot of children are getting hurt due to the barbarous actions of Russian Federation, and we wanted to pay the tribute to those children who gave their innocent lives during this war. Yeah, we hope we do maximum we can, I think, and the Ukraine has created different zones from the 1st September, because the school year starts on the 1st of September in Ukraine, where some children will be able to attend physically the classes, but most of them will never have a chance to meet in groups in classes, and that's why we need to support them.
Of course, sure, and it ties in with support initiatives that you're doing here in Luxembourg as well, and of course shows how important it is for initiatives like the summer camp as well for children here in Luxembourg, so that they have as normal a life as possible, let's say, while they're here. So wonderful.
And once again, as said, we are just coming back to our initial purposes, humanitarian purposes of the association is trying to help children and youth in Ukraine. And I think it's up to us to give a better future, and actually just a future for those children. And we should do maximum we can to stop the war, and to hope that those children will have a chance to make something great for this world afterwards.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Nicolas. That's been it's been eye-opening as well, and hopefully it will show our readers as well why it's important to spread the word and to support in whatever way we can this initiative as well. And yeah, thank you very, very much, Nicolas.
Thank you, Jacqueline.